are both on Blackboard. So what we don't do is we don't give out the syllabus because it costs us so much money on our copy budget. So what we do is we give out a brief, and then we put the official course syllabus up on Blackboard, supposedly. There we go. Has anybody been on Blackboard? You need to, because this is a very important part of all my classes. I don't know about the other instructors that you've had, but this is the first week right here. So this is course information in the first week. This is a very, very important place. And this is where your actual syllabus brief would be, and also the official course syllabus. You got the syllabus brief there, so we'll bring up the actual syllabus and look at it just a little bit and go over some important features. So the course descriptions, y'all can read that. The textbook that's required. Anybody got their textbook yet? Hey, what? That's the one we need right there. And then there's a small reference book. It's called a Fluid Power book. Yes, because that, well, put it this way, that's got all your formulas and everything inside of it, and you'll be able to use that on the test. So if you don't get the book, you won't be able to use it on the test, right? The book. Okay. So, this is not a class that I usually teach, so I wasn't responsible for ordering these books. Like I told the class Monday, this has been 5 years since I taught this course. So this is not one of the courses I usually teach. I'm primarily in manufacturing and industrial electronics. But I like teaching this course every once in a while. But that's the book. Got to have a scientific calculator. So this book, this right here, this is your data book. And like I said, that's got different information about different cylinders and stuff in. And it's also got the formulas that you can use on your test. Because I know there's a lot of our courses has a lot of math in it. Like this course, it has a lot of math. It's not real complicated math. It's just basic algebra, guys. And what they do, though, is they give you all the formulas that you can use. And that way you don't have to memorize them. Of course, if you was in the field all the time, then this would be something you would know, right? You understand? But this is, some of y'all, this is just a class that you're taking as an elective. And it's a real good course because I don't know of any manufacturing facility I've ever been in that don't use fluid power. In fact, it's so important you even use it at your house. So fluid power is very, very. So make sure you bring safety glasses. And like I told the other class, it's not on here, but we don't allow, in this class, we don't allow you to wear short pants, and we don't allow you to wear open-toe shoes. So don't come in here in flip-flops or anything like that. And if you're in an electrical class, we don't let you wear. We want you to wear cotton because most of the synthetics that we wear will catch on fire and burn, and that's not good. Of course, it says Blackboard. Why does it say ILT 194? Yes, ILT 118. Undoubtedly, whoever did this copied it over from the. All our syllabuses are basically the same. So undoubtedly, whoever copied this covered over the intro to PLCs. But I'll go in there and change that. These are right, lockout, tagout procedures, fluid valves. Then this is the scale that you're graded on. By the way, on Blackboard, when you go to your grade book, there'll be a listing of each one of these as a unit, what you make on your test. And this is the percentage each one of them counts toward your grade. And we talked about the tests. We said we give 3 tests during the semester. We don't give makeup tests because it's only an 18-week term. So we don't have time to take time out of a class so you can make up a test. Okay. So what we do is we'll give a test. The first 2 tests we'll give at the end of class. What we try to do is schedule a test day where we'll be in lab the first half of the class. So every class on any term, every class counts as 2 days. So we can't bring you in here and let you take a test and go home. and lose the whole day of instruction, right? You understand, or a whole day of lab, because that's what it would cost us. So what we try to do on our test is we'll be in lab the first part, so you don't have to get new information before the test. People don't like that because they've studied all this old information, and now I'm throwing new stuff out to you. So we'll be in lab the first part, and then at the second part, second half of the class, we'll take the test. And why we do that is that way, if you do get through with the test, what can you do? Yeah, you can leave. If I gave it in the morning, then you'd take the test when you got through. You'd have to hang around for the second half of the class. So we do those tests toward the end, except for the third test. Because the way I do my test is we'll give a test at the end of class, and then I'll grade it, and then the next class we start off by going over that test. And that's another reason I can't give makeups, because I can't go over the test if there's somebody that hadn't taken the test. And then we'll go over the test. So the third test is scheduled. The class, every class counts as 2 classes. So basically the third test is scheduled on the day before the final, the class before the final. So we'll give that test the start of class, and then that way we can look at it and see if we got any problems on it, okay, before y'all. And the other tests will already be online, so you'll be able to study for the other 2 tests for the final exam. Assignments, there's a set of assignments up there. There's an assignment section on Blackboard, and basically if you look, there's an assignment due almost every Friday. So there's an assignment due this Friday. And of course, the first assignment is in this first week quizzes and agreements that's required for the first week. The only thing that's going to shift, since a large portion of the class wasn't here last class, is normally we require the syllabus agreement to be turned in the second class. But what I'll do is I'll move that till the next class, okay, before we can attend the next class. Are we okay? By the way, it takes at least a C to pass the course. So if you make a D or an F, you have to repeat the class if you want credit for it. And that's Lawson State policy. Attendance is very important for you to be here. Another problem that I always have in my classes is people will stop coming. They'll just stop coming. And they don't do what? They don't withdraw from the course. And I cannot withdraw you from the class. So if you just decide you want to stop coming and you don't withdraw from the course, then you're going to be graded just like you were sitting here. So that means every lab you'll get a 0 on, every test you'll get a 0 on, your final you'll get a 0 on, and what you end up with. An F, right? You understand that? So I understand things happen, and I understand you might need to withdraw from the course or stop coming. Well, we can withdraw from the course online. It's real hard. You can just go to Lawson State's website. I'm supposed to have it up here somewhere. Oh, it's already there. Quick links. And then over under student links, you probably need to go to more student links. And then right here in the center, it says, it's actually in red, says what? Withdrawal. And that's as simple as it is. When you go here, you can withdraw from one class or you can withdraw from all your classes. So if something happens, you need to withdraw, because all the other instructors are going to do the same thing. It's awful to end up with an F on your transcript. And I keep telling people, for some reason, they think if they retake the class and make an A in it, that it does away with the F. It does not. Every grade that you make in your major is added to your grade average. So what that means, if you don't withdraw from the class and you make an F, and the next time you make an A, you end up with a C average for that class. Y'all understand that? So every class that you take in your major is part of your transcript. I mean, it's part of your grade point average. So it's not like it. I'm not sure if they do that in high school or not. The rest of it we're not going to look at. That's the things that we have problems with. We do have a American Disability Act. So if you've got some type of disability that requires the college to make some considerations for you to make sure you can excel in the classes that you take, you have to be identified. You have to identify that with Mr. Renee Herndon on this campus or Ms. Jamie McCoy on the Birmingham campus. And then what they'll do is they'll require you to provide documents that gives you these things. I don't want to say give, that provide these for you to make sure you can excel that. And then they'll send me a document that says this is what I need to do for you. Okay. So I cannot make any special considerations for you if you're not. So unless I do it for the whole class, right? You understand that? So if you need extra time taking tests, if it's been documented that you need that, then we'll make that. But you can't come up to me and say, Rich, I need extra time to make the test, or Rich, I need extra time to do this assignment. I can't do that, right? You understand that? Or I'd be sued a lot. Well, Rich did that for so-and-so. Cell phones, you want to make sure you put your cell phones on the non-audible mode while you're in the class. And then some notes. So by the way, if you come in late or leave early, you need to let me know for safety concerns. And plus, I do roll the first part of class, and right now I'll call roll, but after a while, once I learn you, I'll do roll. I won't call names anymore. And then if you don't come in, if you don't make sure you let me know you're here, then you're going to end up with an absent on your, and sometimes that might affect your financial aid. Okay, y'all understand that? So I got people that, and you'll see them when they come in. No matter what time I start the class, they'll come in tardy. I don't care if it's an afternoon class or a night class or a morning class or whatever, they'll come in tardy. And y'all see them. Y'all see them over time. You'll see them. Huh? No, it wasn't me either. I'm the kind of person that if I get here on time, I'm late. So that's just me. So you have the brief. That's a basic look at the syllabus. And like I said, we're not going to go in a lot of detail on this because you're required to read the syllabus, so I'm not going to go over everything. But what is required is before Friday, you're required to take the first week quizzes and agreements. So inside this, if it opens up, guys, inside the first week quizzes and agreements, you have your syllabus quiz. So you have to take a quiz on the syllabus. So basically that proves that you read it. You have to agree that you will follow the college's dress code, and you have to agree, you have to do a syllabus agreement saying you agree with the contents of the syllabus. And then there's a safety and evacuation quiz you have to do, and also a syllabus quiz. You might want to open on mine, I'm not sure. And that's the first week quizzes and agreements. And I can't get it open on mine for some reason. I'll go back and look and see what's going on, because y'all are required to do that. So I'll take care of that. So any questions on that? So we've lost basically 2 days of class because we lost 1 day, right? We only had, when at 9 o'clock was here, I was the only person sitting in here. Now, if I was in business, I would be out of business, right? You understand that? So we've lost 2 days of lecture. We usually try to get through the first 3 chapters before we can go to lab. So the first 3 chapters, if you look in the textbook, the first one is just basic fluid power, and then we'll get into what we call directional control valves, and then we'll get into cylinders. Once we get into that, we will have enough so we can start doing our basic labs before we really get into some not heavy stuff, What's nice about fluid power in the labs that we do, you know, you get into DC, you get into intro, you don't see things move. It's always nice. We're visually oriented, so you know, here when you do something, you're going to see things move. Of course, instead of moving by electrical current, we're going to move them by using fluid power. So we'll look at our first chapter, which deals with basic principles of fluid power. Let me stop this because